Coach, what's your assessment of how the teams played against just the conference opposition you've had here at MSU?
Yeah, I've had good tests. I think the conference foes that we've seen so far have improved. Um, so I think it was good to just see a mix of pitching. Obviously, from an exposure standpoint, thinking about conference games ahead, I like the fact that we got to see a lot of different pitchers that we'll see later. So it's a 500 weekend for us. So it's not quite what we wanted, but not disappointing either. So it's I think looking ahead. Also, I think we got a little bit of a revenge tour. It kind of feels that way. Our kids are fired up to see teams again, regardless of how we did this weekend against them. So I like the response in terms of compete level, just the eagerness to see, obviously a tough loss to Northern State. Very eager to see them again. Crookston handed it to us, so it's again a chance to show them a very different look next time we see them. So I think kids are very motivated for that, and that's one of the things you want to feel when you come out of those weekends, right, with a couple weeks to get ready for that.
In the preseason, you talked about how pitching was going to be the biggest issue, and you're out or missing Zoya this weekend. So how do you think that affected your record here?
It was kind of a different story each game. So it's hard to generalize. Game against Crookston, we walked 8 hitters in 5 innings. 3 passed balls, like 4 or 5 errors. Like, you're just not going to win unless the other team's walking 8. You're in trouble, and the kids know that. We preach first pitch strikes. 2 of the first 3, and on or out in 4 pitches, and we were behind 2-0, 2-1 all day long. So that was really the factor. So it's about getting ahead, no matter who's in there. I think Carly Coughlin's been pitching better and better of late. I'm actually really pleased with her. She'll make some mistake pitches here and there, but again, that's a kid that's I think pitched 2/3 of an inning last year. Really hasn't thrown in 2 years, so I'm happy with the progress. I think that's moving in a good direction. We've got other kids who are just young, trying to find it, and pitchers usually have your best stuff, maybe 1 out of 6 outings, and so I think we're learning. So I'm not totally disappointed, but yeah, the first game was brutal. It was. I thought we actually pitched pretty well against some pretty good hitting teams too. So I'm seeing progress. I think it's moving in the right direction. It'd be great to get Zoya back, in large part because she creates a contrast with other pitchers too. She makes Roxanne better. She makes Carly better. So overall, disappointed with moments, but I also feel pretty optimistic about where we're headed. Right? I feel like it's moving in the right direction.
How about you're seeing your team in all kinds of different situations, like you mentioned? You got up big, and you got behind big, and you came from behind, and a close pitcher's duel. So you kind of saw everything this weekend.
Right. No, it's good. But Jordan Staples is back, and really the first pitch she's thrown all year in the game. So a tough spot for her to be in. A lot of pressure, but we're still a young team. I think we grow from that, and I think that was the message with the tight games. You learn a lot more from those than a Mercy Rule blowout. Right, and so I think that's for a young team that's been good. I thought we tightened up a little bit against Northern. I think they were bigger in the moment, and the moment was a little bigger than us. We talked a lot this week about kind of fight or flight response, and I think we're going to learn from those experiences. I think it's really going to be good for us as a growth and learning experience. So again, really happy with the way. Ironically, the Crookston game, we had a great week of practice. We looked phenomenal last week in practice, and then we go out and struggle. But I think the kids believe in what they're doing in the process. We've got to get healthy. We're still hoping to get a couple bodies back this week that should make a big difference in terms of just getting people in the right spots defensively, that sort of thing. So I think the sun's going to come up tomorrow, and the kids feel good about the process and the way they're working, and I think good things are ahead.
Does an extra inning loss, especially to end the weekend, kind of sting a little bit more?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it always takes about 24, 48 hours to get over that. I will say, Northern State's coaches have done a great job. It's been kind of fun to watch that. I know a couple of the kids that have big hits I've actually worked with in the past, Minnesota kids that I know, and they're just in a different mindset than they were 2 years ago, right, with a new staff, where they were in that just kind of that early growth mindset. We're just trying to get better, and then they've added a couple really good arms. They're just in a different state psychologically right now, and that's where we want to get to. That Northern State's a much more confident team than they have been, 2-3 years ago. So that's where we're headed, right? So it's a really tough loss, but I think our kids are looking at we get to see them again, right? These aren't conference games. We've got double headers against these opponents. We feel good about our depth and a chance to come back at them. So next time hopefully it's more fight than flight in those anxious moments. But again, I think we took a lot from that loss.
Taking a look at Saturday, an early morning win against your rivals Mary, and then the ups and downs of the Northern game. How does it bring your team together early in the season?
It's there were a couple plays there I think were galvanizing. What I mean by that, J.C. Rostad got blown up at the plate. And what you want you don't want to see your kids get discouraged. You want to see them come back and fight, and they're kind of fighting for one another. And I think the tough losses have been like that too. I think it's been galvanizing for our kids. Are very tight knit right now. I think we're determined. We've been working our tails off. So I think it's nice to be able to, at the end of a game like that. It's different than the end of the season, right? Again, we get to see them again. We have a chance to come back and show them something different. And I think our kids walked out of the building determined to do that. So I'm very happy with the work ethic right now, and I like our odds seeing. I don't like I don't think they're high odds of teams doing that to us 3-4 times in a row. I'll put it that way. Yeah.
Looking forward to this upcoming weekend. A little bit of a change of pace. Some NAIA schools coming in: Dickinson, Providence, Mayville, and Valley City. What do you think you're going to see out of those teams? Is it going to be, how different will it be from the NSIC competition?
I don't know. I don't know Providence at all. I haven't seen them play. Mayville, I haven't seen much of them. I know the VCSU team pretty well. Well coached. The Matsons do a really good job. That was a great hire for them. That's a team that was 7-0 against our Valley City was 7-0 against our Northern Sun Conference opponents. So I look at them as a Northern Sun middle of the pack team. So we will have our hands full. And they beat us last year. So and Dickinson's right there with them. Those are two of the top 3 teams in that conference. So as far as parity goes, right, I'd line them up in the middle of our conference. I think they're that strong, and both programs are very competitive, well coached. So definitely not taking anything for granted at all. We've got our work cut out for us, and again, process-oriented mindset. We just want to get better each day, and I think all of our opponents will give us an opportunity to do that, and test ourselves. So hopefully, string 3-4 really good practices together, and we see the results of that be manifested in just playing good games, right? Playing hard every pitch.
But taking in some of the weaknesses on defense, do you think a lot of that's playing in the dome on the turf, or is there a little bit of just start of the season?
It's a great question. I know we've got a couple kids out of position right now, and that's hurt. But again, the approach is. We talk about passive versus active mistakes, and I say for our kids, if you're gonna make a mistake, go make a big one, a big aggressive mistake. I think our mistakes have been trying to play fast, doing things that we're not necessarily used to all the time. So I think there's some balls that drop that you get a little frustrated with because that's a little more passive. So try to make that distinction and really look at the process. Right? Are we being aggressive? Are we playing fast? Are we playing hard? No problems with those mistakes. Where I get frustrated, things like walks. Right? That's because we can't defend that. And as hard as the kids are working, as well as we're playing in practice right now, right? When you're giving freebies up, that's the frustrating piece. And I think that's where when we've struggled, we've lost the freebie war with our opponent. If we win the freebie war, we have a chance as a well-prepared team to do very well.